The world we're living in, the demands, the expectations, this is crazy. It became normal, but it's crazy. So trying to also make change in that front for people to rest and to really take care of themselves and not see rest as a luxury. It's a necessity that makes you a better person. You are a shitty person when you're tired, like we are all shitty people when we're tired.
This episode is about the pros and cons of artificial intelligence when it comes to dreams and dream analysis. Everybody wants to know what their dream means, but a lot of people don't want to put in the work to get an actual answer that actually helps you. Today, I'm talking to Joanna, who is really passionate about this topic. She actually wrote a free ebook on AI and how it impacts dreams. We are at the brink of a really interesting future, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I also want to know everybody's opinions on this because it can be quite controversial. So leave a review, comment, join us online, and you can find me at thedreamwellpodcast.com. Thanks for listening.
So my name is Joanna Kowalewska. I am originally from Poland, born and raised there. And I am a founder of Blue Lotus Queendom, which is a space dedicated to dreams, sleep, and rest. My main mission basically is to help people connect to their dreams and find the wisdom within through their dreams, because I truly believe that we all have answers to the questions that we seek. We are just not really able many times to reach these answers, and we are also not taught that as children, as how society works. We are always told that someone knows better, right? Like when we are born, obviously it's the parents, they tell us what to do, what not to do. Then we go to school, it's the teacher, then it's a boss, and then there is a priest, and then there is someone else. So we end up not really trusting ourselves and our own wisdom that we have. At least this is the house also that I come from. Inner knowing or trusting your own intuition, this voice that talks to you, was never really something that was considered okay or normal even. So for a long time, I struggled with that, with the feeling that I need to listen to someone else for almost everything related to me and my life. And through the dreams, because I've been a vivid dreamer for my whole life, since I can remember, I always had a lot of dreams as a child as well. I was always remembering them. And I realized that all this wisdom is there. So only if I look into it and I will trust that I can understand it and I can connect to it, then I can grow from it. So I made it my mission to help others to see this, to experience this for themselves, and to realize that there is so much they know already, that their body knows, that their mind knows, that their spirit knows, like whatever you want to call it, but there is the knowing. So that's what kind of fuel my passion and my work with dreams.
Beautiful. I love that. We're on very similar missions. I think it's such an important thing. And I also grew up Catholic and everything, so I didn't really grow up with this passion for I had it personally, but the people around me did not foster it. So I think that's something definitely that I'm excited about for the future, is how can we teach children about their dreams at an early age. And I'm really excited for this topic because we're going to talk about dreams and AI, which is the new stuff, the big topic right now. But first, I want to ask you really quick. Do you focus on like yoga nidra on your page or just all types of dreams? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, sure. So I also facilitate yoga nidra, like I run workshop classes. I work with people through yoga nidra. So basically I connect, this is all connected for me to the dream world, to the work that I do with dreams, because basically what happened during yoga nidra, for people that don't know, it's basically a type of rest in which you are lying down and you go through different state of consciousness. Maybe you fall asleep, maybe not. Maybe you enter the hypnagogic state, maybe not. So how this works is that you start to recognize different states of consciousness other than waking life, which is also what happens when we dream. It's just different state of consciousness. When we lucid dream, it's also different state of consciousness. So for me, it's also a way, first of all, to help other rest, because we are the society that is depleted of rest in a way that I can't even explain. I realized that when you practice yoga nidra, you also increase your dream recall, because only by paying attention, what happens, this a little bit of visuals, of a color, of a sound, something that comes. This moment when you fall asleep, it's exactly the same when you are in the yoga nidra, right? That you kind of one leg here, one leg there. And when people start to realize that they can consciously experience the different state of consciousness, they suddenly also started to remember dreams. They suddenly start to have lucid dreams as well. And yeah, and this is for me just another way of connecting.
Yeah, I love that. Because I tell people that are trying to lucid dream that that's a great place to start because everybody has access to it as you fall asleep and right as you're waking up. It's really easy to learn how to surf that edge of consciousness consciously. You don't have to be lucid dreaming experienced to do it. So that's a great place for people to start.
Yeah, and also it's, you know, it's a practice of rest. Who doesn't want to rest? So
Right.
it's another, I will say, selling point. Not like I'm trying to sell anything, but it is, because you tell someone, hey,
Yeah.
you want to rest, you want to feel better, plus maybe you want to experience different state of consciousness. Maybe you can learn lucid dreaming. Maybe you can remember your real dreams more. You know, it's so you kind of, the invitation itself, I think it's amazing, and it's very accessible, as you said. Everyone can do it. You know, you can also listen to different tracks before you go to sleep. You can go to a class, like whatever it is, or you can just pay attention to what's happening to you before, as you said, before you fall asleep or right after when you get up. That's really beautiful. It's so simple. It's too simple to be true, but yet it is true.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like a form of meditation, and I've noticed that the way I fall asleep really impacts how well I sleep, my dream content. And even if I just lay down for like a little nap or a little rest, even if I don't fully fall asleep, the fact that I'm just consciously paying attention to the weird imagery that I get. I love
Yeah,
hypnagogic imagery. It's so much
me
fun.
too.
It's so like random and weird. Well, let's get into AI. So, this is something that you're really passionate about lately. What are the uses of AI in dreams? I know there's so many positives and negatives, and some people are scared for the future and some people
Yeah.
are excited. Where do you stand?
Yes, so maybe just a little bit of background. I worked in a high tech for a while, so I was exposed to technology, to working with technology, to seeing what technology can accomplish, what we can do with it. So it kind of also sparked my interest of how this can be connected to a dream work. And as you said, there is a lot of different voices around it, right? Some people are very scared and say like, no, this is just completely not acceptable for working with such a sacred thing like a dreams to put technology into it. And others are like, yes, why not? Let's use it for the good, right? Where I stand, I would say I would like to just show maybe how good it can be, but also the dangers of it, right? Like my role is not to encourage or discourage anyone, but maybe to show two sides that I personally see, and to encourage others to do their own, you know, to decide for themselves, like whether it's something that they're interested in or they're not interested in. Because I understand also the people that say like, no, let's not even go there, like dream world, it's too sacred to mix it with technology. But I personally think also that this is the evolution of humankind. There is technology. It is there because we continue evolving, right? And the technology is also evolving. So I say, why not to use it if it can be helpful or useful, but also how not to lose ourselves in it, right? It's like with other kind of technology, like smartphones, internet, everything. I see the beauty in it, and I see the immense positive impact it can have on the world, of the people, but also all the dangers. So I feel we're exactly in the same place. Maybe also by educating others, I would like to also underline the possible pitfalls, things that can happen, because I'm advocating for believing in yourself and your intuition and your dreams. So what I say basically is, don't give this power to others, okay? Don't give it to other person, and don't give it to the machine. Like, use it in any way you find it fit for yourself, but don't give your power away. Because I personally, how I work with dreams is I can ask you questions, I can maybe underline some things that I see, I can maybe pinpoint on stuff that because I've been into it for a long time, I can see maybe clearly. But I will not tell you what your dream means, because in the end of the day, you are the owner. I didn't have your life experience, right? I don't know everything about you. So how can I know what something means to you, right? So I can guide you, like I see myself as a guide, but I won't tell you what your dream means. The same with the machine, the same with the AI. I would say, like, if you want to use it to deepen your understanding, to maybe do some manual work, you know, faster, to do some stuff that maybe you would spend days on doing, or looking for repeating symbols, right? Or repeating emotions. Maybe you go through your dream journals and it takes you want to do it manually. It can take a lot of time. So maybe you can ask AI to do it for you, right? But if you ask what my dream means, I think this can be a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, I understand. And that is a sign that you are a good dream worker because we want to give the power to the dreamer. And it's really up to the dreamer to say, okay, I'm going to use AI as a tool and not just give it the final say about what my dream means, especially because you know if it'll resonate with you or not. So it is kind of similar. And I also, there's other uses too of like creating art from dreams. That's kind of what I've used it for so far, to try to replicate things I see in my dream. And I think AI does a really good job of that. So that's kind of fun.
You can use it for creativity, right? Like you can create an art based on your dreams, or you can create a storyline based on your dreams, and get your your creativity flowing with that. You can even create music. You have this amazing dream, and AI some tool can help you to create a soundtrack for your dream. Maybe you want to make something out of it, right? Audiobook with the beautiful music, and you're reading your dreams. So again, there are so many amazing things I believe you can do with it. Besides this creative part, AI is really good at, like I said, at spotting things or mapping things or building timelines. If you feed this information to the AI, it can show you how your dreams were evolving as well. Maybe there are symbols that change over time. And those are all things that you can do yourself. Of course, if you sit for hours and you look at things, right? For me, for example, I dream a lot about diving. I'm also a very passionate diver, and I dream a lot about diving. And there were periods of time that there was always something wrong with my equipment. Like there's always a piece of my equipment missing, and it was not allowing me to go diving. And it was so frustrating. And at some point, this started to change, and I was able to go diving, and the mask was no longer missing, and the fins were there, and so on and so on. So, like, like the dream symbol of the dream theme is also evolving with you growing. So sometimes those stuff are really obvious. This was really obvious for me. This was very strong symbolism. So I didn't miss that this changed. But I believe there are stuff that they change, that there are subtle changes that maybe will take a really long time to see it. So maybe AI can see it and can say, hey, I see that there was a lot of anger in your dreams, and now your dominant emotion is something else. Food for thought, right? Mm-hmm. So depends what you're going to do with it. But again, like, to tell you what exactly it means that there's no more anger and there's something else there, I wouldn't possibly go, because again, this is my call, right? It's a dreamer's call.
Interesting. So actually brings up a couple questions for me. So I could see how it could be used as a tool. So when it's analyzing data, right, does an AI just take the data from your dreams, or is it analyzing every data it's ever gotten from any dream inputted, right? So how does that work?
So,
is that good?
Exactly. So it really depends how you want to use it, what you want to use it for. Because again, I would rather use it I would feed the app with my dream journals, for example. I would feed it with my dreams, and then could ask questions based on what the information I gave, right? But this only applies if you would give for the AI your dreams. However, if you ask in general, like for example, you go to ChatGPT or any other, machine learning powered tool, and you ask questions, then yes, then it takes the information from everything that it was fed with. And there are many dangers here, because first of all, where it took the information, which dreams it took, or what is basing its opinion on. And there's a lot of bias there as well, because AI was fed with certain information, right? With some stuff that were on internet. I believe there's a lot of things that are not on the internet, so AI cannot know that. Maybe, some shamanic dream traditions and rituals, they're not so much information online. So the AI will be missing this perspective, right? So it will be maybe talking to you from the perspective of this most common type of dreams that were given, or the most common population that was actually putting it out there. So there's also a lot of information missing. So again, it can be used for me as a point to reflect, as something interesting, but it is missing something. And not even talking about that it's just missing the soul because it's a machine. So, that's another conversation. But if we talk strictly about the information that it has, right, and how it can use it.
And some people have fears of AI becoming sentient. And there is data that when you share your dreams with people, with humans, obviously, they become more empathetic towards you. This is like shown through research. Do you think there's a possibility, maybe not in the near future, but could AI become sentient? And if it did, what would it do with all of our dream information?
Very interesting question.
An out there topic.
Yes, very out there. Honestly, I think it can become very intelligent. I think it can become extremely intelligent, and it can self-actualize, and probably it could become at some point, maybe not so far from now, more, intelligent than humans. But, the energy, the soul, the I don't know, depending, how you want to call it, right? The life force it's not there for me. Maybe it's different, and no, there is energy there, but it's different. It's a complicated one. I don't really know. I don't really know for sure, but I know that the interaction for now, at least for now, the interaction with the machine or with the technology is definitely not the same as the interaction with the human. As you said, what happened between two people that share a dream, there is something very special happening. Like you mentioned this research that if you tell someone your dream, the person becomes more empathic toward you. Can machine be empathic at some point? I don't know. It's a really big one.
It's
Yeah.
hard, yeah. Yeah, it's hard to say. I guess we'll find out. We're definitely in the early stages of it. Of course, it can become smarter and smarter, but yeah, it can never be human. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. We've seen a lot of sci-fi movies,
I've
but
seen also a lot of sci-fi movies. Yeah. So as of now, again, I think there is also to what you mentioned about how the machine will read the information that you give it. There is also this ethical and privacy consideration when you do that, right? Because where does this information go? How this will be used? Like, what's the privacy policy of the tool you are using? Like, are you okay with this being used in the future? Again, maybe it will not directly impact you in any way, but it's very, dreams are very private. I see them as something very private, very sacred. Even you choose with who you would like to speak about certain dreams, especially there are dreams that
yeah,
probably maybe you don't want to share with other people because they feel too private. Do you want to share them with AI? I don't know. Again, it's not good or bad in itself. It's just something to consider when you decide to go this path, right?
definitely. Yeah, I will definitely be reading all of these privacy terms and conditions.
Yeah, exactly. This is something that I also encourage people to do. Like, oh, you chose a tool that you want to use. Okay, check what they do with your information.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting to be able to use AI to compare people's dreams around the world during
Yeah.
events, like patterns amongst humanity, find people that are sharing dreams. I think that would be a really cool use of it.
Yes, definitely. For research, it could be
Yeah,
amazing.
100%.
Again, because it can make many things much faster. It can collect huge amount of data, and it can be really, really useful for research, for researchers, as you said, for connecting other dreamers. On the other hand, how we make sure that we're getting the voices of many different type of dreamers there, right? And so then
Yeah,
again, it won't become only one part of the population, sharing it.
yeah,
Because, for example, one of the things that I think AI is really cool is, let's say you dream about something, a creature, a character, and you can just ask, I dreamed of this and that. Is there any place in the literature or internet that this was mentioned, right? Because I believe sometimes maybe we dream of some mystic creatures or gods or whatever it is, objects, that we don't know what it is, but it perhaps can be existing somewhere, right? So the thing is that AI can really fast help you say, like, yeah, there are mention of something similar here and there in this book, in that book. There's archetypes that talks about it. So again, I find it like something fascinating that can really give you some information. Again, what you do with it, it's yours, but it can give you some inspiration, information. But at the same time, there are things that are not in the internet, so you will never reach it if you don't look for a specific book, right? Because not almost everything we believe is online, but not really everything is online. So there is still this part of the perspective that you would be missing, but you can use AI this way. It's amazing. Like, I dreamt of this woman that looks like that felt like this. What do you think? Like, who do you think it is? Like, you can have a chat, you can have like a conversation, like with a friend. Like, is there any book about it? Like, does it sound like someone from history, from the past?
yeah,
You can have a lot of fun with it.
yeah.
And it's very fast. It's much faster than Google, because Google gives you different kind of results. Okay. This can combine like, oh, the book and this and that and image and yeah.
When using AI, how do we phrase the prompts in the best
Mm.
way order to be able to help us, like instead of just saying what does it mean? So what do you think is the best way to like, put the prompts in?
Yeah, I would say asking questions, like say, I dreamt about this and that. I had this dream, and what questions can I ask myself to better understand this dream? This can be really useful because it gives you questions that you answer yourself and you take the results of this or the answers for yourself. And so it's again not saying, as you said, not saying, oh, what does it mean, but more of what questions could I ask? In what area I could look? Is there like a specific methodology or psychological, tool that I can look into? Or I would always go about asking questions. Because if you just ask questions, first of all, you're not expecting to get an answer, because the answer, again, I advocate for having your own. But it can broaden your horizons, because who knows, maybe it will, show you a question that would say, I didn't think about it, Or you can ask about associations, as you said, with different cultures, or associations with the past, movies, songs. You can go very creative there, like, oh, is there a song that would fit this dream? Because maybe you feel like honoring your dream by listening to a song that sparked this feeling of the dream, or the theme of the dream. So I would always go this direction. I would use it as deepening, I would use it as broadening the horizons, as broadening my understanding, or my own investigation, like a helper, like a personal helper.
Did we talk about all of the uses before we get into the downsides? Are there any more uses that you could think of?
I mentioned it briefly, but very easily finding the recurring patterns and symbols, building a timelines. Again, if you decide to give AI this information, maybe you have your dream journal online, like I, for example, have. I write my dreams in the Google Docs, so I can very easily give this information. So it can show me timeline, how the symbols evolved. It can show you like the most repeating emotion, the most repeating theme, the most repeating color, all kind of stuff like that. That maybe again can give you just information for having more investigation of your own. It can help with the creativity, as we said. Create music, images, stories, movies. I believe there it's really endless. Like, I love it because you can go almost any direction that you want. I really love it about that. What else? Like deepening your understanding of the dream, asking the questions, and visualizing. Okay, there's something that we didn't talk about, is visualizing the dream data. So let's say you have a lot of dream, and you want to visualize it in some way that it will be a little bit easier to digest for you. So, it could help you create the graphs and other type of visualization related to your dream. So if you're doing a study, or even for yourself, and you just don't want to see the numbers, you can have it made for you in a really nice way, all the statistics of your dreams.
So what are ways that we can keep centered and still use our own intuition instead of trusting the AI too much? Like, that is a mental process that we have to consciously keep all the time.
Yeah.
So like, what are your tips for that?
Exactly. I think it's all goes around this, this belief in this strengthening your own intuition at the first place, and understanding that dream work, for me, it's about that, right? About listening to your dreams and learning from it. Yeah, as you said, it's so easy to just say, oh, I had a dream about the dog. What does it mean? But again, if you understand that when you do that, it's like using a dream dictionary, which I'm not really big fan of, right? Again, it's very similar, just like, the old fashioned way, the dream dictionary, right? And I always say, like, dreams dictionary can be great because they can give you some ideas, but in general, they don't know anything about you. And the perfect example is the dog example. Is like, if you love dogs and you dreamt of dogs, so you wake up and you feel, wow, I just had this amazing dog. I love this dog. But if you're scared of dogs and you dream of dog, you will wake up maybe sweating,
Or if
and
you got bitten
frightened.
by a dog last week, it's going to be totally different.
Exactly. So this is what I say. So I say, listen, that's why there's no one explanation to any dream, to any symbol. So same as with dream dictionaries, that I say, look at it if you want, if it can inspire you, maybe something will spark your investigation. But the same with AI, like, I don't want to say do or don't do, but be very careful with that. Think about it as just like a helper, like a secretary that can handle you a lot of stuff, but the executive decision is yours. So I always say, like, remember that you are the owner, and you know best. And it comes with a lot of, I think, inner work to be in the place that you believe that you really know, that you understand your dreams, you can understand your dreams, and you trust the gut. And going back to ourselves, right? Using it as a tool and not as the final say.
Definitely. And I think it's important to still have your own dream work practice. You never want to rely on anything, even if it's like supplements or Blue Lotus, even. You want to have your own practice, and everything else is a tool and it's additional thing that you have control over. You don't let it, control you.
Exactly. And as you said, you can see AI exactly the same as any kind of supplements or tools or anything that can help you remember more your dreams, or going to someone and asking them, oh, what my dream means. It's a tricky thing, because maybe they're right or maybe they're really wrong. So it comes back to the place, really trust yourself. Your dreams can help you trust yourself, because what happens when you start looking at the dreams and really writing them down and listening to them, is that you really develop this trust, because you say, oh, I think it was that, and then you act on it, right? And then you say, wow, that's very good, I was right. And it's not about always knowing what dream means, and it's not about that. That's not realistic. But it's this thing that if you start to develop the relationship with, like, you realize that you know more than you thought you knew. And this is the beautiful part. So not giving the power to anything or anyone, for me, and this is what I advocate for. And I wish to empower everyone else, because you want to come to some sessions with me so we can look at the dreams and ask some questions. Amazing, right? But then I set you up on your journey, and you're perfectly capable to do it by yourself.
So what about some potential downsides? We touched on some of them,
Yeah.
but what are the ones that you find most prominent?
Yeah, exactly what you said, using the question, what my dream meant, right? And fitting, saying, I dreamt of that, and what did it mean? And this is very dangerous, because, again, I personally don't believe that the machine can really know. And we have tendency to looking for fast solutions, and we are used to being given answers very quickly. So, maybe instead of me sitting and trying to figure out, I will just ask ChatGPT, and less than 5 seconds, I have the answer. This is one of the downsides that I'm most worried about. And I think it goes everywhere. I mean, it's not even only with the AI, but kind of in many areas of our life, that we outsource so much that we no longer owners almost of anything, because we have tools and machines doing things for us. So this is what scares me and concerns me a little bit. And I would really encourage not to do that. I discourage people from doing that. Also, as we mentioned, the privacy, ethical, considerations, like, are you okay with your information going somewhere? How this is going to be used? I believe for some people, they don't care at all. We're already giving a lot of permissions to all the apps in our phones, but maybe it is something to consider, right? Maybe you don't want your holy dreams to go somewhere in the internet. You don't know what's happening with them, right? And the fact that we can just, become like addicted to it, to this fast, okay, this is, oh, I dreamt of this is the answer. Okay, I go about my day. And there is lacking, the human involvement there. Like dream sharing, it was a practice for centuries that was connecting people, right? So there is this very important part of it that I feel it's also missing when you do it with AI, is that there's no human connection there. The whole dream sharing circles and villages sharing dreams, or even partners of friends sharing dreams, there's something beautiful that is being created. You can't have it with the machine, right? You can have a funny chat or interesting chat with it. You don't create this connection. And I feel that dreams are also amazing way of getting closer to other people, to have empathy for other people, to connect to other people. So this is also something that is missing, the human involvement, right? It's not there. And the bias that we spoke about, right? That not everything is out there. So you will get some part of the information, but not everything is on the internet, so you will be missing a part of even what this symbol meant in different cultures. Maybe you're interested, you will still need to go and ask people or go into a book. So remember that there is a lot of information that the AI was not fed with, that are very important. And also like this psychological well-being, again, not getting addicted, like not relying too much on it, like maintaining the balance between doing, as we said, using this as helpful tool and doing our own work. As you said, you still do your own work, you still look at the dreams yourself, you still journal it, you still want to connect with them, and don't rely purely on the machine to tell you things. It's very important. So even if you use it as the helper, as I said, make sure that you do keep the balance, that you don't neglect your own dream work done with yourself or with someone else. And to also be aware of how things are changing, and maybe if you are using AI for it, just like follow up how things are changing, like how the algorithms are changing, in a way of be aware, of what you're using, like just simple being informed.
Yeah, especially in these early stages as it's developing. So I don't know if I'm being too cynical here, but let's say as AI starts to gather data and more people start to use it, what about like the privacy? Obviously, we don't really know what they're being stored for, but do you think there's a potential in the future where I could just ask AI like, "Hey, what did Joanna dream about?" Or like, things like that to try to find out about other people's dreams?
That's a very interesting question. This is why I say, the reading the privacy policy, very important. Like, it sounds crazy that this would be possible, but like we see a lot of crazy things happening, right?
Right,
So,
I be.
or this being sold to a companies, or this being sold to someone,
Yeah,
and
I saw a
knowledge is
show about
power.
that. Hmm.
Many people use it for beautiful purposes. There are some people that use it for less
Yeah, like
amazing
with
purposes.
anything, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And remembering also that, again, it's very private, it's very sacred. It's not meant to be, used, just put out there this way. Having the respect to your dreams, treating it still as something very personal. I think it's important to really remember and to act on it.
Yeah, that's true.
The best tips that I would give to someone that wants to use it is to not to rely on it as the final source of the answers, and always do your inner work, and to foster the mindfulness and introspection, always when using other tools or other people help to understand your dreams, and embrace the creativity and the playfulness of it, and really you can have a lot of fun with it, and create amazing stuff, but choosing also wisely the tools, right, that you want to use. Choose the good tools, read the privacy,
Mhm.
and make sure that you don't neglect your own dream journal, at the same time. And also maybe there's something we didn't touch on, is that you can also do some collaborations with others. You can explore maybe dreams with others. Maybe you can use AI in a ways that you use it for your dream circle. You do some cool stuff with it, like the opportunities are endless. You could be reporting your dreams as a group, and then creating something out of it as a group, and sharing the experiences and sharing the ways that you use AI for dream work with others. I think it can be also super cool to use this tool for something great. And
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. It does come in handy when it comes to groups and stuff like that, especially because, I have a couple friends that I try to do dream share tasks with and things like that. And we're always looking for overlapping patterns and symbols and stuff like that. So that could definitely come in handy.
exactly, this is something amazing that you can do. Again, as I mentioned, like only very shortly, like for any research purposes, and this kind of work, it can be amazing because, again, it can pinpoint on stuff that you missed.
It's already hard enough to a lot of people, surprisingly to us, they don't really care about their dreams or they're like, oh,
I
whatever.
know, that's
Those
so terrible.
It's mind-blowing to me. I don't get it, but but maybe something like AI will incentivize people to be like, "Oh, maybe it's easier. Maybe I can get into it now. Let me record my dreams so I can see what AI says about it." So if anything, if it gets people interested in just paying attention to their dreams, that's a benefit in my head.
In my ebook, I didn't recommend any tools. Like, it was more general
Mhm.
about what you can do, but not mentioning any specific tools or apps or stuff. So when someone sent me the message like, oh, so which tool would you use? Like, what dream interpretation AI we would use? I'm feeling really torn, because from one side, it's exactly what you said. It may get someone going. It in a playful, funny way, with a beautiful images, beautiful design of an app, and it seems so easy. So yes, if that's going to be the result, that someone will start to pay attention to their dreams, that's amazing. But on the other hand, because of the dangers of just over relying on it, when someone asks me this, so I'm trying to also create like a maybe post or a video about that, but I'm still not sure how to reframe it in a way that it will be very clear that the use of it is amazing, but there are some considerations. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish AI would come with some sort of disclaimer to people like, oh,
Oh,
dreams are not universal, just so you know. This is just, like some little sentence or two about that.
you know that sometimes it does actually.
Sometimes, right? Yeah, I've seen
Sometimes
that.
if you ask, because I did, obviously I tried some stuff myself to understand it better. So sometimes, surprisingly, But
I
maybe
noticed.
because already it knows my point of view on that, right? Basically, it would say like, "Oh yeah, like a last sentence. Just remember that dreams are very personal." Da, da,
Yeah,
da.
it does
But
say that.
but it may be because it already knows how I see it, because
Yeah.
I've been working on it.
I hope it continues to do that though, because if it is gathering data from what's online and what people are saying, that's what we're saying. So that's what it should say. That's the right thing to say. So if AI is really smart, that is the proper way to analyze someone's dream, is to not tell them so directly. So hopefully AI catches on to that too.
Yeah, but I think that there's also many people that do believe that they can say what other people's dream mean. Do you think?
Yeah, they
What about because here I don't think I don't think it's that balanced. Like you and me, we share the same belief,
yeah,
and I
it's
know many
not.
people do. I have all the members of International Association for the Study of Dreams. This is the ethical code. But I met a lot of people that they believe they can tell straightly what the dream means of other person,
Yeah.
and if those people talk to AI or feed their
Yeah.
information to the AI, then maybe it's not going to be so straightforward.
True. I mean, it's interesting that AI will definitely reflect the balance of humanity. And unfortunately, there are people like that. I've met people like that. And I find it a little pretentious, even if you have good intentions. Like you don't know for sure. You don't.
Yeah, do you meet it often when you say, okay, I'm a dream worker, or I help people understand their dreams, or whatever you call it, and then the people expect you to tell them what their dream means? Because I do meet this
Yes,
quite often.
very
Like this is
often.
kind of expectation. Oh, your dream interpreter, and I'm
Like, oh,
like,
you must
definitely
know. Let
not.
me tell you about my dream. Immediately, people are like, oh, I had this dream. Let me tell you about it. And I listen and everything. And I'm like, first thing I say is like, oh, well, let me ask you some questions. I'll ask them clarifying questions. Honestly, I won't even give the little disclaimer. I'll just ask questions. And people
Yeah,
love
yeah, yeah.
talking about their dreams. So they'll just tell me more and more. And sometimes I don't even have to say the disclaimer. They're like, huh, you know what? I just figured it out. I'm like, look at that. And then sometimes I'll be like, I'm just asking questions because I want to help you figure it out. I can't tell you for sure, but like, if it was my dream, and then I do that whole thing. But yeah, it really just depends on the person. Some people are like, oh, but what do you think it means?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you an idea, but don't take this as as the final answer.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly the same with me. And I believe that giving the power to the person, empowering, because for me, the dreams are extremely empowering. Working with dreams is empowering. And again, going back to my, childhood when I was raised in a way that, nothing, only others know, right? So that was something very, very powerful. And also because they are so inclusive, like everyone dreams, and no matter what background you come from, no matter your religion, no matter your age, we all dream. And what I always say as well is that it doesn't really matter what you think that dreams come from, because some people believe there are messages from God, or other people believe that they are just our brain processing, or it's our ancestor, or it's our higher self spirit talking to us. I always say, you know what, it doesn't really matter, because as long as you believe that there is an information, that there is wisdom, there is help there for you, so you got it, right? And I love it because I've been in between different cultures and religions and living in different countries, and I feel it's something that can unite everyone, because we all dream. And as long as we recognize that there is something valuable there for us, so we can take from there, and it happens every night. So I mean, come on, right?
It's incredible. I wish everybody would just start writing their dreams down at the very least. But I think we're getting there. It's the beginning. See.
Yeah, here in Israel, I must say that's very, very still unknown niche, I would say. So I meet a lot of like strange looks or questions. But I feel like it's what happened with yoga and meditation and other practices that used to, they seemed very woo. And I feel that dreams are now in the same place. I really feel that with time, people will be much more open to it, and hopefully will understand that it's such a beautiful way of getting to know yourself and growing. And I really hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. And I think me and you were doing the important work of being ambassadors of the dream world. So I'm proud of us. Keep doing what you're
Me
doing,
too.
please.
Thank you.
So where can we find your ebook, and like what do you want to share with people that you have going on?
Yeah, so my ebook is to download for free on my website, which is bluelotusquindom.com. It's the same hashtag for my Instagram account or my Facebook. It's Blue Lotus Quindom. I run online dream circles or workshops sometimes, and also on site here in Israel. And you're welcome to just say hello and ask questions about dreams, AI, or wherever you would like to know. Yeah, I just hope that this message will reach as many people as possible, and that everyone will, maybe even the skeptic person, will give it a tiny try to write down the dream and to look at it and to maybe see something there. Because I truly believe that we can all do it and we can really grow from it. And it's so beautiful and so easy and so accessible. You don't need to pay anyone or do anything. You just go to sleep.
Yeah.
So again, just really use it, and you'll be surprised. And it's not hard, and you'll be really surprised what you can get out of it.
That's true. Okay, last question. What about somebody that's like, those stubborn people that are like, oh, but I don't remember my dreams. I haven't had a
Um,
dream in 10 years. That's bullshit. Any advice for those people too? I don't want to leave them out.
Definitely, I hear it a lot, but I also saw that every time there is even a conversation about dreams, so maybe even listening to this or any other podcast or reading an article about dream, or even talking to someone saying, you know what, I don't remember my dreams, I didn't remember my dream for 20 years. This is already setting the intention for remembering the dreams. And it's insane how it works. Again, too
Yeah.
good to be true, but it happened to me a few days ago. I just had a conversation with someone who said, oh, yeah, I don't remember my dreams anymore. And we just spoke about dreams in general, not about their dreams or no techniques. No, I didn't say nothing about doing anything. And the next day, I get a WhatsApp message saying, you won't believe. I just remember my dream. And I said, you see, it's that
Yeah.
simple.
The
I
power
feel
of the
like we
mind.
Yeah, and I feel with dream work in general, it's that simple that you
Yeah.
don't need to make a lot of effort, just about setting intention and wanting to establish this connection and being open. That's it. And it will come really, like, again, not too good to be true, but it's true. I promise. Just if you want it, you will remember your dreams. Really, unless there are very tiny percent of people that have some medical conditions that maybe you are in this 1% of people, but if not, really, just say it out there before you go to sleep. I would like to remember my dreams. I would like to hear the message from my dream. I'm open to hear my dream, and it will come. If not the first, second, third night, it will come after a week. It will come. And if it didn't mean anything, if it was for nothing, we wouldn't have it. Because also something that I always say, I believe that we as human, there is not even one cell that was created that we don't need.
Yeah.
So everything that we are, that we have, all the organs, all the cells, everything is for something. So if the dreams meant nothing, we would not be dreaming. Like for me, it's as obvious as that. I believe that everything that we were created with, we were created with for a reason. And it applies to dreams as well. So we talk about the yoga nidra element in that and go a bit deeper there. It's super interesting. And in general about rest, because I'm advocating for people to freaking rest.
Yeah.
Because they don't, and it's just insane. And I want to just I'm myself like getting out of this consumed, like this way of seeing things and working and over exhausting ourselves and helping others to understand that this is not normal. This is also something that I do when I speak to people, when I invite them for yoga nidra, when we talk about sleep, about rest. Is like the world we're living in, the demands, the expectations, this is crazy. It became normal, but it's crazy. So trying to also make change in that front for people to rest and to really take care of themselves and not see rest as a luxury, not seeing coming to yoga nidra class or doing 1 hour of yoga nidra in the home when the children are screaming as something, as a luxury. It's a necessity that makes you a better
Yeah.
person, that you are able to bring your gifts to the world when you're rested. You can't do it. You are a shitty person when you're tired. Like we are all shitty people when we're
Yeah.
tired.
For real.
So dealing with the like constantly tired population, like not the best things are coming out of us.
That's so true. It is a necessity.
So there's a lot of stuff like that. Can you tell me more, if you have 5 more minutes, more about yourself and
Oh
where are
yeah, I
you
have time.
located? And
Yeah, no worries. I'm 28. I always like loved my dreams. I was a lucid dreamer like when I was a kid. So I got into it that way. Really, I just always loved my dreams. I liked exploring consciousness. I was like that kid that would like spin around in a circle just to like feel something interesting. So I always thought it was cool to like experience altered states of consciousness. And then when I discovered that lucid dreaming was something that you could do, like I started getting more into it. And then I
yeah.
started the podcast in COVID just because I was like, this is so cool.
Mhm.
Why aren't people talking about this?
Right.
And yeah, and so my focus is lucid dreaming. I teach people how to lucid dream from beginner to advanced. But there's so many fields within dream work that's why I need the podcast, because I need people like you to tell me what you know and what they know and all this stuff. So bringing it all together to just keep the conversation going is like kind of like my mission. And I love doing
Yeah,
this, I love talking about dreams. I think it's so important.
extremely important. I agree with you. And it's still so, I feel, and maybe in state it's a bit better, but here, if I look at kind of like dream work scene in Israel, so maybe there are like, I don't know, 3 people that do that, including me. So
Yeah,
really,
definitely harder over there probably to find that people. But if you did, I mean, you could maybe create a little group or something.
yeah, I'm thinking about it. Like I would love more. Like there are some. There are a few people, but still, it's so niche. It's still so niche, and for all these reasons that I told you, not
Yeah.
even going into lucid dreaming, and not even this is like just one fracture, what tiny part of as you said of the dreams and what it can be done with it, and how can it be healing, and what lucid dreams, what you can do, what you can experience in the lucid dreams. It's so big, so even starting the conversation about it here, it's already for me like so big. But because it's so unknown, I struggle all the time with stuff like bureaucracy and stuff, because like, oh, I want to get an insurance, for liability insurance. Oh, I can't because it's not a thing, stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I say like,
Yeah.
oh, great, okay, and then on my website, like the credit card processing companies say like, oh no, we cannot give you the clearance because what you do is like it's not a thing. Like, so I'm experiencing this. Like
Oh, yeah.
this is how unknown, how out there DreamWork is here, and it
Yeah.
even powers me more to
Yeah, I
be
was gonna
very
say.
loud and vocal and make some
Good.
really, like bang about it, because it's so important. I believe this work is so important and so beautiful and helped me so much on my personal journey. And I heard that maybe next year the conference is actually in Europe. If it's in Europe, I'm there for sure.
Yeah.
So
Okay, awesome.
yeah,
Well, I'm gonna try to go for sure because I loved it. It was my first time going. It was amazing. So I'm definitely gonna try to go next year. I think that people don't even know that they're into dream work, especially because it's been hidden and silenced throughout generations, especially a country like Israel and the really like, more like religiously strict countries, I think.
yeah. But
Um,
Poland the same,
yeah.
with this very heavy, very strict traditional Catholic society. And even though I really loved like the reel that you made the other day about, mention of dreams and dream prophets in Bible, because this is exactly the thing, But my parents would say like, oh no, this like comes from a devil, or like
Yeah.
it's everything that was a bit out there. I was so discouraged, That's why also it took me so long to really put it up front in my life, because I was very conditioned. And even though inside I knew, because I was always dreaming, always remember my dreams, and I was always like, yeah, there's something about it, but like I was so repressed also. That's why I left Poland, but that's another story. But so repressed, and like from religion point of view, there are the prophets in the Bible, right, that were interpreting dreams.
Yeah.
So but yeah, people don't
100%.
know it, and what people don't know, it brings fear. So I meet with
Yes.
a lot of fear about
Yeah, I
this.
definitely think that's the big challenge for dream work is fear and expectations, which is a lot of it, just being able to just judge by your own experience. And yeah, God gave us dreams. That's what I tell people. It's our birthright. Jesus was
Yeah.
named after a dream. Like I could go on forever. Like people see dreams and visions in the Bible all the time. So,
Yeah, and also the visions in a wake state, because
yeah,
now when you have a vision, you are, you need to go to a psychiatric ward, but hello.
yeah, I think back a couple centuries or however long ago, I think it was more normal to think about these things. Maybe as science and technology has advanced, it's become more pseudoscience. But back then it was more normalized. So I think we've lost that as a culture. And maybe that's part of the just silencing our intuition as well. So we have to
Exactly.
reawaken ourselves.
It's exactly like, yeah, story of my life, to trust yourself, really believe in yourself, trust in yourself, like, you can
Yeah.
decide, like, and it's not about not having teachers or masters or no, but like trust yourself, like really develop this relationship, and you will see what magic will happen.